When I was coaching at Florida State in 2007, Chris Stowers, who was my doctor, he was also the Florida State team doctor. And when he'd examine our players, he'd come out and examine me, you know. And he caught through my PSA that I had a little problem I didn't know about, you know. So he had me to meet at Dr. Joe Camp's clinic, 6 o'clock in the morning, so nobody will know. You know, because something like that got out, and I had to be headlines, as you know there. Bobby Bowden got cancer, you know, this and that. We wanted to prevent that. So anyway, and he said, we're going over to Dr. Camp's at 6 in the morning and bring your wife. Now that scares you when he says, bring your wife, you know. You say, uh-oh, something's bad here. So anyway, Ann and I go over the next morning at 9, nobody's there, slip in the back door. Coach Joe Camps and several of his staff is there, and they explain to me my problem. I've got a problem, and we got to do something about it. And we think we're going to be okay. We think we got it early enough. You know, you've got cancer in your prostate. You know, so I think it might have been the next day. They treated me and they tested me and through them they healed me. You know. And of course, the moral of that story is get to it quick enough. Get to it quick enough, and you can probably beat it. And so that's what this program is about: trying to get men, trying to sell men. Hey, look, don't keep secrets from yourself, and be sure to see a doctor. Be sure to see a doctor. You know, because one out of six men will get cancer of the prostate. You know it. Get to it early enough and whip it.
Now, you mentioned your wife, Ann, being a huge, important player in this process. What is your message to the women out there, given the important role that they can play as a caregiver in the family?
Make your husband do it. Make your husband go to the doctor like he ought to. You know, women are pretty good about that, going to the doctor. You know, women, now for women, breast cancer, and for the men, prostate cancer, are very much the same. Now, you know, women will talk about their problems, and they'll go see a doctor, and they'll do something about it. But men, we don't discuss things like that, you know. And of course, and so what message could Ann get? Make your husbands go get that checkup. You know, they think they're too busy or they're too macho or something. Make them go to see the doctor and get that checkup.
Now, you mentioned your doctor, Joe Camps. He was a former DB for the Florida State Seminoles and actually the senior captain on your first team at Florida State. Tell me what it was like being treated by a former player.
Joe would knock you up in the stands if he could get hold of you. He was a hitter. I mean, that guy loved contact. And I had a lot of confidence in him. I knew when we coached him, I knew he was a leader. I knew he was intelligent. I knew he had ambition. I knew he had goals. And to see him get to the top in his profession doesn't surprise me one bit, and made me feel very comfortable when I was with him. When Joe was treating me, I had a deep feeling of confidence that he knew what he was talking about and that he was going to solve my problem.
Now, talk to me a little bit about living with prostate cancer, but of course, more importantly, the treatment process.
Well, I was fortunate. I was talking to a fellow today on a television show that had prostate cancer, and his had gotten away from him, you know, and he was in pain and he was in discomfort and he was having a hard time getting around. I never had that. I never hurt. I never had pain. I never had to limp out on the field because of it. I was fortunate of mine, and of course the whole key to mine was getting to it soon enough. You know what? If my doctor had not have spotted it, I don't know where I'd be today.
Now, before we go, Coach Bowden, what is your final message to the men out there that may see this interview right now?
My message to the men out there, and the reason I publicly speaking out the reason I'm in New York City today, is to tell men, get a checkup from your doctor. Because 1 out of 6 men are going to, during their lifetime, are going to be faced with prostate cancer. Go to your doctor Get examined and find out. That's the big message for me.
Well, thank you so much, Coach Bowden. We are, of course, rejoicing in your victory, and thank you so much for the message that you have for the men and women watching. Again, thanks, Coach Bowden. It's been an honor.
Hey, thank you very much. Good to talk to you.